What's going on, guys? Sorry about the mess. Got a lot going on here. Today, I'm gonna be focusing on the 88 250R. Honestly, I haven't really touched this thing a whole lot. I figured it was a jetting issue. I jetted this thing up and down, you know, read the plug, got the plug to read nice and tannish brown. Still sputters and breaks up past quarter throttle. The only thing I can come up with is just this, the ignition system is just whooped in this thing. So today, we are, the box open here, get some goodies. A lot of money, but, well, for some people, a lot of money. You guys know what that is. So this is the ignition system out of a, that's out of an 02 CR250R. I got that, and get the adapter plate from ESR for CR250 2002 to 07 ignition only. It's all billet, timing lines scribed in there and all. Real nice piece. It was like 95 bucks with shipping and tax. Wasn't terrible. I mean, these things are expensive to maintain and ride, you know. So the thing people don't realize about the, let me get my chair here so I got something to sit down on. What a mess. 5.3 is almost done, ready to go back in the truck. That's a long story that I don't want to talk about right now. It's frankly, this thing has gotten pretty burnt out. Alright, so one thing about the CR250 ignition is you have your flywheel. So I can't get out of the stator because it's sticking on there. So 02 to 07, you can actually still get parts for them. See, the problem with the 01 ignition, the 01 ignition, you cannot get you can't get any parts for an 01 ignition anymore, really, from Honda, from what I've been told. So that's the problem. So that's why ESR started coming out with their billet adapter for 02 to 07, because the good thing about an 02 to 07 ignition is CDI boxes are actually Denso brand too, which is kind of cool. So I bet you could honestly probably get a CDI box for one of those for this ignition system, honestly, from a parts store. But like I said, 01, you cannot get factory OEM Honda stuff for these ignition systems anymore. It's only aftermarket. I'm sure Ricky Stater and stuff makes them components, but they're not factory Honda, which they say, just like old, you know, Ford stuff, Ford diesel stuff from my experience, you got to run factory Ford stuff. Same thing goes with Honda stuff. It seems like these bikes only run good if you have a good OEM ignition system in them. And I think just either my stator's whooped or this CDI that I bought for it is just garbage. So today I'm going to try to get most of this ignition system installed in this bike. Maybe start it, see if we can get some headway with it. I'd love to ride the thing. Really haven't ridden it. I haven't touched the bike in probably a month, 2 months after I messed around with the jetting, and it just didn't change a thing at all. So I'm gonna chalk it up to the ignition system being some sort of weak spark, maybe when the coils in the stator heat up and separate and cause a weak spark. That's what I'm gonna chalk it up to. Regardless, these bikes run amazing, I guess, with a CR250 ignition system in it, so that's what we'll be doing today. Like I said, I'd like to get most of it done today, maybe start it. So I'll try to do like a thorough video on my install on a 02 to 07 CR250 ignition. So yeah, let's get to it. Alright, so I got it all torn down. So the only thing I gotta run to a buddy at work, and he's gonna give me the flywheel puller, but I got all the ignition off, aside from the stator and all that and the pickup. So I'm gonna get that off, and then I'll kind of take a quick video of putting the ESR adapter on there. So it's a pretty straightforward thing. It's just you gotta, I don't know how much routing I'm gonna have to do. Like the CR250 Ignition came with the kill switch, but I think actually even the CR CDI box actually might even fit in here with a little finagling. So I'll probably do that, but probably gonna mostly zip tie it all. But it ain't the end of the world. It's kind of trick. Somebody actually, I don't know if somebody maybe had at one point, I don't know if it's a coil mount or what, but this is actually probably going to work pretty good. Because the ignition coil, it's all wrapped up. I can't really show you, but the coil is actually self-grounded. So you gotta mount the coil to the frame, and then obviously it goes to the plug. So you got to instead of the old coil, I'll show you the old coil, where the hell it is, right here. Whereas you have your ground and your hot part of the coil, and then it goes over here, and that's your main ground right here. That's how this harness is grounded, but somebody did like a crappy race cut harness, and so I don't know if these connections are junk, if the stator's junk, the CDI box just might not be right, but something ain't right, and it is what it is. Like I said, regardless of how it runs, it's going to be a great upgrade for this bike. Previously I made a airbox eliminator. That filter might be maybe a touch too small, but I don't really see it being real small. But I cut it back because it was kind of like, it was like here. I was thinking maybe it was actually taking in exhaust gas, which ain't no good. It's gonna mess with your jetting if it's sucking in fucking exhaust gas. So fix that. Might even replace this cage, because not the cage, the inlet here, because it almost looks torn. I'm not really sure if it actually is or not, but that might end up getting replaced. I really hope it ain't, but yeah, so this is as far as I've gotten so far. So like I said, I'll get the puller here, and I'll get back with the next clip on installing the ESR plate, getting the timing right. Like I said, there's a timing mark on that plate that you got to pay attention to. So we'll get that set up and get the new flywheel on, blah blah blah. Route the new wires out and kind of figure out where we're gonna be. Get the chassis ground right here. That'd be your main ground. So I'll probably have to split it apart and kind of route it a little different. But I mean, I don't think this ignition's set up for headlights or anything, which I don't really care. I mean, I do a lot of night riding, but I can finagle some sort of headlight on the thing if I really want to ride it at night. So yeah, this is as far as I got so far, and we'll get to the next clip. All right, so got the flywheel puller. So was able to get the ESR bracket in there. It's very straightforward. If you look right here, it's notched out, so obviously that's your top, and then down below, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a timing mark you gotta line up down there before you bolt the stator itself down tight. The bracket only goes on one way, so that kind of is what it is. This bracket stays here. Don't touch that. Flywheel goes on just like a factory flywheel would. That's about it. The only thing I gotta deal with is just where these wires go in and out of the cover. I'm gonna cut this rubber out of here and just do away with that so it looks a little neater. But for now, I'm gonna put the fuel tank back on it and see what it does. I zip tied most of the harness. It actually worked out pretty good. It's not crazy neat, but made the coil bracket, actually welded it right there. Some bolts there. Like I said, it's grounded to the frame. The coil's grounded to the frame, so you have to bolt this to the frame unless you run a jumper to a ground. That's your chassis ground, obviously. But welded that. Weld's not that great, but it puts that plug perfect to where it needs to be. This, I believe, is a pigtail for your lights and stuff. That's not being used. This goes down to your stator and stuff. And then your rectifier and voltage regulator, I'm assuming that's what that is. And obviously your big CDI box, big 2002 CDI box. That's about it. So that's a quick overview of that. I'll throw the fuel tank back on and probably fire it up and see if she'll run. I don't know. Just to make sure there's not a bad crank seal back here, I'm going to spray some, I'll spray some starting fluid back here. Make sure it's not pulling air. But like I said, I got the plug reading pretty nice, so I don't think it's a crank seal or anything. So, but we'll see. But yeah, so let me throw the gas tank back on. All right, runs mid. Guys, so it is now, what's today? Wednesday? Yesterday was when I did most of this video that you're gonna see. So I got a chance to ride it and stuff, and I did end up, the ignition system I put in, it ended up fixing my issues. So it wasn't a crank seal or anything. It's just something in the ignition system was garbage, stator, CDI, I don't know. It was a new CDI, but it was an aftermarket $60 CDI, so who the heck knows. And the thing doesn't kick back at all. That's one of the big benefits of a CR ignition is you don't get that violent kickback. I mean, like, you know, you get a little nervous. You don't want to, you know, slip off, break your shin or something, whatever, screw your foot up. And I got nerve issues in my feet anyways to begin with, so I'm super careful when I kick the thing over, but kicked it over like a wimp 4 or 5 times, and I gave it one good one, and the thing sparked right over. It didn't kick back at me once, you know, so I'm happy. The bike's an animal. I would highly recommend the O2 system to anybody. I'll get I'm gonna get a video up of me ripping. I'll get a good video of me riding with the new system, and I got the bike all back together and stuff. I gotta get tires. That thing, the tires are so bald on it. It just spins. It just, you know, it just spins. So yeah. So you guys will see the whole video here, but it'll, you know, I figured I'd let you guys know that it did end up fixing it.